3 months after breaking up with my boyfriend, I found out I was pregnant. When I went to the hospital for a checkup, the obstetrician turned out to be my ex-boyfriend Mike's sister. MIA, does my brother know you're pregnant? Mike's sister asked eagerly. I forced a smile. I broke up with your brother. She pointed behind me. Maybe you guys should talk. It was surreal. Just like that, my ex Mike appeared out of nowhere. I wanted to escape, but there was no way out. So I forced another smile. Hey, long time no see. I knew Amy was an obstetrician. That's why I avoided her hospital, afraid she'd find out. But life taught me that man proposes, God disposes. Even more puzzling, why was Mike there at the obstetrician's? I couldn't believe he was just visiting his sister. Yeah, long time no see, Mike replied formally, looking at my stomach, his expression complex. Amy, did you check? 3 months, Amy replied quickly, no hesitation. Then she stared at her brother. How long have you two been broken up? 3 months too. He smirked slightly, an unreadable emotion flickering in his eyes. I scoffed. So what? It's none of your business. That mouth of yours, he said, gesturing for me to follow him. Wanna talk? No need. He watched me, annoyance bridging his cool features, but he silently followed me everywhere I went. Finally, I'd had enough. What do you want? You're the one who owes me an explanation. Mike's eyes bore into me, his sharp features intensifying the scrutiny. His eyes always gave the feeling they could see right through you. Unquestionably, he was a good-looking guy. I swallowed hard, defiantly challenging him. Mike, we're over. What more do I owe you? Child, he kept it simple. I sneered. You're not the only man in the world. His eyes flickered with anger, but I didn't care. Breaking up with you was such a relief. I hit the bars hard, partied a bit too much, and ended up pregnant. I taunted further. I'd ruined my own reputation. What more could he want? He kept frowning at me, and I found it funny. Mike, you got a thing for playing daddy. If looks could kill, he'd have buried me right there. With a furious expression, he stormed out of the hospital. I stood in the breeze, watching his taut figure disappear, my eyes stinging with unshed tears. It wasn't that he didn't love me, or I didn't love him, but two strong-willed and temperamental people together, it's pure chaos. We'd argue until the roof nearly blew off. After 3 years of wild love and epic fights, I got exhausted and broke up with him. He was probably tired too and didn't argue. When neither of us could learn to love better, splitting up was a form of love. But I didn't expect this surprise. I left the hospital in a daze. Morning sickness had left me queasy, and running into Mike was confusing. I thought to grab a taxi and take care of the essentials first. But just as I signaled one, a black SUV pulled up. The window rolled down to reveal Mike's face. Easy to love, easy to hate. Get in, he said with a tone that lacked warmth. I snorted, not interested. At that, his forehead twitched with a visible vein. I couldn't help but laugh as I turned to find another taxi. Had it not been for the morning sickness, I would have driven myself. But before I could hail another, the SUV door slammed hard, shaking the entire car. As I wondered how I survived 3 years with him, I saw Mike getting out of the car. His stern face approached quickly, and my instincts kicked in. Years of dealing with him had me running on autopilot. MIA, he shouted, his voice full of frustration, while I sprinted away in the wind. Given his mood, if he caught me, it would have been another epic showdown. But as I ran, the silence behind me was unsettling. I stopped, confused, and turned back to see the SUV slowly crawling beside me like a tortoise. Crafty devil, I muttered. The window was down, and he smirked as he steered. MIA, keep running. I felt foolish even considering it. With a frustrated huff, I went to open the car door. He braked quickly, locking the doors just as I settled into the seat, making sure I wouldn't bolt. Then, he unleashed a rapid rant. Are you an idiot? Running when you're pregnant, risking your life. My car wasn't even parked, and you yanked the door open as if hell wasn't hot enough. You want to buy one get one deal with death. His sharp words poured from those perfect lips, all directed at me. Furious, I kicked the car door twice. Let me out. Veins throbbed on his forehead as he glared, eyes blazing with restrained anger, looking like he'd strangle me on the spot. Suddenly, he leaned over. I chickened out at the last minute, but then I thought about confronting him. Before I could say anything, he reached over and grabbed the seatbelt. With a quiet click, the safety buckle snapped shut perfectly, but he didn't move away. I glared at him. Don't think you can buy me off. MIA, when you die, your mouth will still be stiff. He looked angry, but his eyes were full of helplessness. Can you speak nicely to me? Does it affect your living? This trick of accusing first. I admit defeat. I sneered back. Who yelled at me as soon as they got in the car. Mike, putting poison on your lips. Does it affect how you eat? Over 3 years, we've fought at least 800 times. Our friends are amazed at us. I kinda admire our perseverance too. Obviously, we annoy each other, but how come we've stuck together for 3 years without splitting up? But if we'd made it 3 years, why couldn't we keep going that day? I guess since he's a doctor, he's all about duty, always putting work first. So, he overlooked us. I said I needed space, moved out quickly, and he didn't object. Maybe it's better this way. Saves us from more glaring contests. On the way back, neither of us spoke. The air felt frozen. We were both sulking, refusing to be the first to speak. At my door, I got out, face like stone, counting down in my head. 1 last minute. If he doesn't come after me, we're done forever. MIA. Smugly, I raised an eyebrow and gave an internal victory sign. I turned around, poker-faced. Got something to say. Haven't eaten yet, have you? Nope. You gonna cook for me? Before I finished, Mike nodded and drove off. I stood there, dumbfounded. What does this mean? Mike, are you messing with me? I walked in, collapsed on the sofa, staring blankly at the ceiling. My hand lightly touched my still flat belly, nurturing a little life. It's such a subtle feeling. My stomach growled, the baby's reminder to eat. Opened the food delivery app, seeing the endless restaurant options and mouth-watering dishes, but nothing calls to me. I'm just irritated for whatever reason. Finally found something I craved after a long search. Can't use coupons, no discounts. Seriously, why is it so hard to get a meal? I never had this issue before. Always coming home to hot meals waiting for me, and Mike would cook just my favorites. Like, soon after we got together, he'd start doing that. He trained my taste buds, won my stomach over, along with my heart. Now, 3 months post-breakup, I've nearly lost 10 pounds. Could I be that dependent on him? I felt like crying without tears. Then the door unlocked. I sat up and stared at Mike lugging bags and bags, utterly shocked. Mike looked nonchalant, kicking the door closed with his heel. Why's the door code still my birthday? I paused for a moment before retorting. Got used to it. Didn't bother to change. But I'm doing it now. Mike shot me a sideways glance and headed straight to the kitchen. Don't bother changing it. Come help me. I rolled my eyes. Used to do it all yourself. You're fine without me now. 3 months apart, and never did you reach out. If it weren't for bumping into each other at the hospital, you'd probably forget me. Mike glanced over, his hand carelessly in his pants pocket. Eyes intensely on me. MIA. I've always needed you. Happy. I forced my face to stay neutral, controlling my mouth from breaking into a big grin. Looking reluctant, I rolled up my sleeves and walked into the kitchen. Alright, what do you need me for? Sit here. Mike dragged a chair over for me and pulled out a box of my favorite peach blossom cakes from the grocery bag. Fill your stomach a bit. I took it happily. These are hard to find, right? Stop staring. It's for eating. Mike teased me while stashing ingredients in the fridge, leaving out only what was needed. The double-door fridge was instantly packed full, mostly with fruits. Know how to eat them. Using my mouth, obviously. Mike's mouth twitched. Great. I'll text you reminders on which fruits to eat. So take me off your blocked list. I suddenly remembered that post-breakup, I was so mad I almost smashed my phone, blocked all his contact info, and never unblocked him since. Then Mike started cooking seriously. I cupped my chin, my gaze silently landing on Mike. The warm light shone on his handsome side profile, casting a gentle glow, softening his presence. This was the first time I watched Mike cook with such focus. People learn to cherish what they've lost. The word lost made me feel like Mike, who used to be within reach, was now galaxies apart. Like we're not the only ones for each other anymore. A few days ago, I deliberately passed the hospital and accidentally saw Mike chatting happily to another woman. If I weren't pregnant, we might never have crossed paths again. Now he's here out of responsibility, right? My chest felt tight, filled with grievance, hurt, heartache, all swirling in my eyes. When Mike looked over, I quickly lowered my head. A warm tear fell on the peach blossom cake. I'm fine. Afraid Mike would notice I was crying, I quickly got up and fled. An hour later, Mike served a whole table of dishes. Just from the aroma, my stomach rumbled. Handing me chopsticks, Mike said, dig in. Thanks, I'll do the dishes later. Mike only gave a small but still ended up washing the dishes, tidying up, and even tending to the plants on the balcony. Watching him drag his feet, about to ask when he'd leave, but then fat raindrops hit the window. Mike seemed relieved, quickly shutting the window. Weather report said thunderstorms tonight. Guess it's true. I'm stuck here. He spoke as if it were old times, settling down on the sofa to catch the news. I glanced at him speechlessly. Mike, I remember you drove here. It's late at night, pouring rain outside, and it's hard to see the road. It's easy to get into an accident. Do you really want your kid to lose their dad? Mike looked at me with a bit of resentment. I turned my head. It's not your child. Mike got up, sat on my other side, and looked me straight in the eye. You know, around 5 weeks in, you can do a non-invasive prenatal paternity test. It's pretty accurate. Want to give it a shot? At that point, I knew I had lost. I ignored him, yawned, and headed to the bedroom. Fine, you can sleep in the guest room. Consider it payment for cooking earlier. Mike didn't reply. I just heard the TV volume decrease. Even though we've been broken up for over 3 months, everything feels the same. I lay in bed, eyes closed, trying to force myself to sleep, but I kept tossing and turning. Maybe it's because I ate too much earlier. Now my stomach is really uncomfortable. Plus, I've always had stomach issues, as diagnosed by Mike. I remember he kept the stomach meds in the nightstand. Feeling around in the dark, I accidentally bumped my shin against the cabinet. It hurt so bad I sucked in a breath. The sound of a cup shattering on the floor. MIA. Instantly, Mike rushed in, flicking on the light. The sudden brightness made me squint, but I could see a tall figure coming toward me, gently lifting and placing me back on the bed. How many times have I told you to turn on the bedside lamp at night? So, what are you up to this time? I turned my gaze away, subtly covering my stomach with the blanket. I'm fine, go back to sleep. Mike tidied up the glass shards on the floor with a scowl and left. But soon after, there was a knock on my door. MIA. It's been like 10 minutes. You're probably still awake, right? I'm coming in. He walked in with a bowl of hot soup. Here, drink this tummy-warming soup before sleeping. I was surprised. Mike figured out my stomach was upset. The nagging pain reminded me not to refuse the soup, so I took it from him. Thanks. Seeing me finish it off in small sips, Mike's eyes softened. He gently rubbed my hair. That's good. Drink this, and your stomach will stop hurting. Try not to rely on medication, especially now that you're pregnant. Mike's tone was gentle and slow, looking at me in a way that felt like he was imprinting this moment in his mind, with eyes that couldn't hide their affection. Okay. His voice was deep and soothing, like a cello, with a soft chill, and an intimacy you share with a lover. At that moment, I looked into his profound eyes, with their defined features and lips slightly pursed. My heart raced like crazy. Just as Mike was about to lean in for a kiss, the last thread of reason led me to push him out the door. I slammed the door shut, clutching my chest to calm my rampaging heart. God, why do I still feel this way about Mike? No, the plan is to keep the child, not him. We've broken up. The next morning, warm sunlight streamed through the window cracks. I stretched and remembered Mike was still in the house, snapping me fully awake. Before leaving the room, I tidied up in the bathroom. I didn't want to appear disheveled in front of Mike, though he's seen it all. But now we're broken up, things are different. I need Mike to see that post-breakup, I'm back to being the charming girl I was, and let him regret it. I even put the radio on, in English. Gazing at the closed guest room door, I sipped my milk smugly. Mike, you better hear this. I've leveled up. Without you, I'm getting better and better. Waiting by the door for ages, Mike never came out. I opened the door to find he was nowhere to be found. I was mad, but more than that, I felt let down, leaving without a word. Even when I was sleeping, Mike used to say goodbye. But now, we've broken up. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I opened it with no excitement. Amy stood there, brandishing breakfast, greeting cheerfully. Morning. My brother told me to bring you breakfast. Says you need something nutritious. I was stunned. Mike took off, but had Amy bring breakfast. What's his game? As she walked in, Amy said, his department's been busy, but he promised to come over tonight. I was puzzled, feeling awkward as Amy cared for me. After thinking it over, I earnestly told Amy, your brother and I really broke up. Amy seemed taken aback. Did you guys fight? Is it a misunderstanding? My brother really likes you, you know. Your photos are everywhere at home. Even his phone's wallpaper is you. Basically, I see you every day. Looking at Amy's sincere eyes, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, sighing, it's no misunderstanding. He's too busy, and more importantly, we just don't mesh. We're both stubborn. When we fight, neither backs down. It hurts us both. It's better this way. In 3 months, he hasn't reached out. So, I assumed we were truly over. Amy shook her head, looking distressed, seemingly struggling with what to say next. She sighed, sis, don't take it the wrong way about my brother. The last 3 months, he's been through multiple surgeries and then got sick. He's been recuperating, and the day you checked in, he was at the OBGYN waiting for me. I was going to drag him for a checkup. Hearing Amy, I paused. Mike was there for a checkup. Was I wrong about him? Maybe he was busy or unwell when not responding. My brother was exhausted. Sis, please don't fight with him. Seeing my reluctance to talk more, Amy sent me a link. Sis, I think this might have some answers you need. Right then, her phone rang. It was the hospital. She had things to handle. I watched a movie once, and there was a line that said, between a husband and wife, it's not just about love. It's also about mutual tolerance and acceptance. Sometimes, taking a step back isn't a sign of cowardice, it's a testament to love. Oh, and by the way, my brother isn't great at expressing himself, so I'm leaving him to you for now. I gotta run to the hospital. That part got me really thinking. When I clicked on the link Amy sent me, all the stuff there blew my mind. 2M, it was so embarrassing. I set up some heart-shaped candles to confess, and the cleaning lady took them all away. I had to confess anyway, since, well, she was already there. Thankfully, she said yes. 2M, took MIA to see a movie today. My roommates said you can't go wrong with a sci-fi. Cause guys need to be cool to get the girls. But honestly, I'm not into movies. So I just watched MIA the whole time. 2M, I want to marry MIA. Reading Mike's posts got me all emotional on the couch, crying one moment and laughing the next. This big goofball, how is he so darn cute? I actually met Mike back in college. He was at the med university across from mine, and I was studying accounting. I found out he was a med student after seeing him work odd jobs off campus. His family wasn't well off, but he hustled hard. Plus, he was really good looking. I once snuck into his school's lectures and got caught by a professor. Right when I was about to die of embarrassment, Mike claimed I was his girlfriend. Then their school's forum went wild. Even the professor was surprised. After all, someone like Mike, a high achiever, publicly declaring I was his girlfriend. I took the opportunity to confess, and he agreed. So, naturally, we ended up together. Later, I asked him, Mike, did you like me all along? He replied, why else would I buy milk tea every day? How could I not remember you? Looking back, we were pretty sweet then. Everything changed when he started as a resident doctor. As I was deep into reading Mike's little essays, he suddenly came back, catching me off guard. I quickly rolled over, back to him. At that moment, I just wanted to finish reading his stuff to understand him better. Mike came in with a big bag of groceries. I'll cook tonight, he offered, acting all nonchalant, with a hint of pride. You're not thinking of turning me down, are you? He continued, there aren't many guys who cook this well. Yeah, he's a bit different than how he is on Facebook. I sat up straight, trying to hide my chuckles, and said with a straight face, the kitchen's all yours, then. Mike frowned, but said nothing as he headed into the kitchen. I peeked over, wanting to explain. Sensing my gaze, he looked my way. I quickly looked down, not knowing what to say. During dinner, I kept sneaking glances at Mike. MIA, just say it if you have something to say, he finally blurted, setting down his chopsticks with a slight thud. Realizing he startled me, he quickly placed them down gently again, awkwardly adding, that was a slip. I cleared my throat. Is the account 2M yours? Mike's eyes widened, his face quickly turning as red as a cooked lobster. You wrote all of it, right? I asked, showing him my phone. Mike, I didn't expect you to be so different online compared to real life. What else are you keeping from me? Something in my words seemed to strike a chord. Mike's eyes softened with layers of tenderness. After becoming the department head, my work got super busy, always in early and home late. So I often neglected you. Seeing you didn't seem to mind, I didn't bother much either. He paused. Do you think it's too late for me to fix things now? I pressed my lips together. Is it because I'm pregnant that you're doing this? No, Mike firmly denied, his eyes more serious than ever. Baby or no baby, it's the same. His gaze was so sincere, no trace of anything fake. It moved me deeply. For a moment, I really wanted to nod, but I was too scared to fall into old habits. His job is still demanding, and he's always been a hard worker, which I knew. Our personalities aren't easy to change. I hesitated a bit. Let's see how you do. And don't think you're staying here tonight. Without a second's hesitation, Mike agreed, all right. One morning, I barely opened my eyes and heard some noise outside. Peeking through the peephole, I saw new neighbors moving in across the hall. I noticed a crystal lamp that looked familiar, just like the one I gave Mike. But I didn't think much of it and headed to the kitchen. Ding dong. So early in the morning, who could it be? It was Mike at the door. He brought me breakfast. From now on, I'll drop off breakfast every morning. You live out in North Town. Doing this every day, won't you miss work at the hospital? I recalled Amy telling me he had a lot of surgeries recently and was taking a break to recover. So I moved across from you. Mike gestured over. I looked up and saw the opposite door open, with my art photo hanging on the wall inside. I was stunned. What's this move about? I asked. Mike cleared his throat awkwardly. This way, coming or going. I can see you. He paused, adding, no crashing at your place, a win-win. Honestly, I felt warm and fuzzy inside, but I couldn't let him get too smug. Oh, should I say you're pretty clever? Eat your breakfast, he replied. I gotta get to the hospital. Mike checked his watch before quickly heading back inside to grab his stuff, not forgetting to wave on his way out. I waved back, watching him enter the elevator. I wanted to ask him why he didn't contact me for 3 months. Guess it was cause of all the surgeries, but thinking it over now, I'll save it for next time. After I spilled the beans to my parents about being pregnant and got their okay to handle things with Mike on my own, I felt a huge relief. The bright sun was shining on me, making me feel all warm and optimistic about the future. I was eager to see how Mike would handle things next. In the days that followed, Mike was either at work or sticking by my side to take care of me, especially when I was going through that rough patch with morning sickness, where I couldn't keep anything down and had no appetite. Mike, bless him, bought a bunch of cookbooks and started experimenting in the kitchen just to make sure I was eating well. And boy, did I gain 20 pounds fast. I couldn't believe it when I stepped on the scale. "Mike," I called out, "is something wrong? Is the food not good?" He rushed out of the kitchen, spoon in hand, saying, "Well, then spit it out. I'll make something else." Taking a bite of chicken, I whimpered, "I've gained 20 pounds. What now?" "My silly MIA, that's not just your weight, it's also the baby's," Mike said seriously. "Is our unborn baby 20 pounds? I thought. As I watched Mike busily working in the kitchen, I snuggled into the couch and gently rubbed my growing belly. "Hey baby, soon it'll be our anniversary. Your dad's usually pretty low-key about it. Do you think he'll do something different this time?" On the anniversary, I waited at home early, checking my phone endless times, but nothing from Mike. I was really disappointed. He could have at least texted me if he was busy. But then I thought about what Amy had mentioned. Maybe he was swamped at work and couldn't help it. Shouldn't I cut him some slack? Amy texted me, asking me to go across the street to pick up a fax for Mike. If he could call Amy, why not call me directly? Remember the fax, but not today's date. Angry, I punched in each number on the fax machine. "Mike, I'm not your assistant. Do your own work." When I opened the door, I was stunned by the heart-shaped candles at the center, rose petals everywhere, and red heart balloons floating in the air. And the table had an incredible candlelit dinner. Soft, elegant piano music was filling the room. I looked over and was mesmerized when I saw Mike, in a sharp suit, at the piano. He turned, catching my gaze. The moonlight highlighted his hair, making his face glow. He was playing Love's Memory. The song tugged at my heart, and my eyes welled up. He remembered. He knew it was my favorite, and even when I asked him before, he never had the time. And now, he planned this amazing surprise for me. Once he finished, Mike asked me to close my eyes. "Close your eyes and count to 3. I did, full of anticipation, and heard footsteps approaching. He stopped in front of me. When I opened my eyes, he held out a bunch of baby's breath. It was baby's breath. Long ago, I told Mike I preferred them over roses. He clearly remembered. I gladly took them and said, "They smell wonderful." "Really? I only catch a faint scent," Mike said, puzzled. "Try it yourself." As he leaned in, I tiptoed and kissed his cheek, a little reward for his efforts tonight. He didn't let me down. Mike's eyes widened a bit, surprised. "So, did I pass? Tell me, which anniversary is this?" "4th, you passed. This was the happiest anniversary ever. Such days have meaning only when both care about it. I used to dream of our little world together, never expecting Mike to go all out like this, just wanting him to be thoughtful. But his job as a rookie doctor kept him busy. Moving up the ranks just made it worse. Catching a glimpse of him, Mike's hand shook a tad. I laughed. "What's up? Am I scaring you?" Mike scrunched his brows. "Am I forgetting something?" "Nope, just a regular day. Go catch some sleep. 2 surgeries tomorrow, right? Rest up." "How do you know?" he asked, frowning a bit. "Keeping tabs on me?" "Nope, Amy told me. She also mentioned, during our 3-month breakup, you had many surgeries. She dragged you for a health check. What's up with your health?" Amy's words still linger in my mind. "Does she tell you everything?" Mike took a deep breath. "I was in surgery almost every day. Sometimes, I didn't even go home, staying at the hospital instead. As soon as it got a bit easier, I was called back for more." Since becoming the head of his department, Mike's workload skyrocketed. It wore him down enough that work forced him on leave briefly, but now he's back at it. He confessed, more honest than his old sarcastic self. I pushed him out the door. "Got it. No need to make me breakfast tomorrow. Amy will drop some off. She's off work. We're going shopping." Watching him leave made my heart ache. Had I been too harsh, not understanding his side and getting upset before? Then Amy hit me up for a spontaneous hangout, wanting to get to know her sister-in-law. Now 6 months pregnant, I want an easy delivery, so staying active is good. Shopping equals exercise. "Sis, when you give gifts, should it be about what they like or what you want to give?" Amy asked. I held Amy's arm, the other hand on my back. "It really depends. If you know what the other person likes, you should buy based on that. If you don't know, then just go with what feels right to you. When it comes to gifts, it's the thought that counts. Amy nodded thoughtfully. While I was picking out baby clothes, she was secretly texting someone. Very mysterious. Shall we check out some bags? Amy glanced at her phone to make sure of our next stop. I immediately agreed. I love buying bags, because they make everything better. We looked around for ages, but neither of us bought anything. The bag I liked was too expensive, so I have to save up. Gotta be patient for now. I saw Amy snapping a photo of the bag I liked. Didn't expect our tastes to match so well. How about we save up together and buy it later? Amy gave a mysterious smile. I think you will have that bag sooner than you think. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. Tomorrow's my birthday. I sneaked a glance at Mike, who was peeling an apple for me. My belly's getting so big, it's tough to move around. I really just want to lie down. Mike looked at me with sympathy. Sorry, this is the only one we're having. I waved my hand. Help me back to the bedroom. I plan to call it a night early. Not even 10 o'clock yet. You sure you want to sleep? Mike seemed surprised but helped me back to the room, tucked me in. You sleep. I'll read the baby a bedtime story. Ever since I was about 4 months pregnant, Mike's been collecting heaps of fairy tale books. I have no clue if he's trying to lull me to sleep or the baby, so I'm used to having him with me before I sleep. Dr. Mike, what story are you telling tonight? No story tonight. I had just closed my eyes, but opened them immediately, meeting those deep-set eyes. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly looked away. Why no story? There's a foreign indie movie you've wanted to see, but couldn't find anywhere, Mike said, setting up the projector. I suddenly perked up, my eyes following him. You're telling me you found it? Mike nodded. I asked some friends. Later I found out Mike had scoured forums and reached out for help from online experts to find that movie. As the movie started, Mike moved from the bedside to sit next to me. I'll be your human cushion. Thanks, Dr. Mike. I don't want a verbal thank you. I shot him a teasing glance, feeling like he was pushing it. Mike looked innocent. I just want to feel the baby. As I got drawn into the movie, I grabbed his hand and placed it on my belly. Take your time. Just don't disturb me. I could almost feel the warmth from his palm through the thin fabric. It made it hard to focus on the movie, especially when Mike, like a curious kid, lightly touched and then pressed his face to my belly. Baby, are you behaving in there? You better be good. No tantrums allowed. When you're born, Dad will take you to play soccer. Let's sleep after the movie. I thought about just sleeping after the movie. Having him there was enough. But suddenly, the clock hit midnight. I turned to Mike in confusion and saw him standing with a big square box. He said, MIA, happy birthday. I stared at the box he was holding, realizing it was my favorite puzzle. My eyes grew misty. You remembered. Couples working on puzzles together used to be a thing because it symbolized piecing their future together. I had mentioned it to Mike in passing. He only gave a soft hum since he was engrossed in a book. Do you like it? I love it. Really love it. I choked up, wiping tears away. Mike swiftly put down the puzzle, gently wiped my tears away. Silly, no more crying, or the baby will think Dad's bullying Mom. Seeing his handsome face made me smile again. He's really changed a lot from before. Let's start the puzzle now. No way, making you stay up till midnight is my limit. Mike shook his head, helping me lie down. It's only 'cause it's your birthday. Know that. Tomorrow when I get off work, we'll do the puzzle together. I pouted but agreed. As he was leaving, I couldn't help but tug his shirt. A bit shy. There are your pajamas in the closet. Mike paused. All right, I'll get them. Is he clueless or just playing dumb? Mike suddenly stopped, coming back with his pajamas, looking at me with surprise. MIA. Did you mean for me to stay over? I pretended to be annoyed. If you don't want to stay, then bye-bye. I'll stay. I choose to stay. Mike changed into his pajamas right in front of me. His physique is no joke. He's the kind of guy who looks slim in clothes and has muscles without. With my direct gaze, Mike blushed. Are you just going to keep staring? Go to sleep. I quickly shut my eyes. The next second, I felt warmth on my lips. Mike had taken this chance to sneak in a kiss. I opened my eyes swiftly, and surprise. Another surprise waiting for me. Turns out Mike had also prepared a second birthday gift. A light bulb went off in my head. My mood lifted. Could it be the limited edition bag I've wanted forever? Mike looked a little sheepish as he unwrapped the box. He squeezed my cheek. Did Amy spill the beans? Delighted, I hugged my dream bag. Mike, this bag is beautiful. It'll go with so many of my outfits, for real. I love it so much, thank you. Mike finally lay down beside me, gently pulling me into his arms. I couldn't see the light in his eyes, but I heard his voice softly reach my ears. heard his strong heartbeat. Birthday surprises are done. Time to sleep. Now, Mike's tone was exactly like he was soothing a child. I felt he was already stepping into his dad role. Thank you, Mike. I nestled against him, sincerely grateful. Really, thank you for making this birthday so meaningful, so happy. Pleased with my compliments, Mike sounded proud. Next birthday, twice the surprises. Really? Of course. Looks like I need to put more thought into your birthday next year, even more than you. I'll top you for sure. Let's have a competition then. Sure, we'll do it every year. Our conversations are like kids arguing. Kind of childish, but full of genuine wishes for each other's happiness. It's the weekend again, and it's the day for my last prenatal checkup. After this, I'll start preparing for delivery. As I was heading out, Mike was already waiting by the door, took my stuff, and sweetly offered support. Come on, I'll go with you for the checkup. Before, Mike was either too busy or unavailable, so Amy would usually accompany me. I raised an eyebrow. You sure? Don't run back midway for a patient. No way. I really have the day off. Then how will you answer when the doc asks who you are to me? You've never been there before. I've got a little grudge about that. I'm your husband. To my surprise, Mike squeezed my hand tightly. I was amused by his answer yet tried to pull my hand away, but he held on tighter. Since when were you my husband? Soon enough, Mike said seriously, not joking at all. I didn't press further, and just waited to see what my doctor Mike had in store. During the checkup, Mike stayed by my side and asked lots of professional questions. Though I didn't understand much, I saw the lady doctor nodding and praising him a lot. She looked at me and smiled. So, Mrs. MIA, Dr. Mike is quite the promising young doctor here. Didn't expect he'd settle down so soon. I was surprised that he spread the word so fast. Yeah, when you meet someone you like, you just can't wait to tie the knot. Mike replied naturally, helping me up. He whispered in my ear, let's go. Got your favorite restaurant reserved. My eyes lit up. Ever since Mike spoiled my taste, few restaurants could satisfy me. It needs booking months in advance. That's why I booked it early. Mike politely pulled my chair out. Check the menu. I'll be back from the restroom. I nodded and looked around. The decor was elegant and romantic, but there was a peculiar circle of pink balloons, even surrounded by baby's breath, which puzzled me. Could it be? Just then, a romantic song played in the restaurant. One of my favorites, This Love Is Forever. As Mike returned from the restroom, he leaned in and whispered, someone's proposing. Curiosity piqued. I looked around eagerly. Where? Right here. Mike suddenly got down on one knee, pulling a diamond ring from his pocket. He gazed at me sincerely. MIA, will you marry me? I want to be your proper husband. My eyes felt hot, touched to tears, but first amused. Didn't you legit have a title before? Mike held my hand, with the ring in the other. MIA, will you marry me, please? He spoke louder. Everyone around cheered us on. Marry him, marry him. I looked at him deeply, nodded with a choke. Yes, Mike, I'll marry you. After getting engaged, Mike moved in with me again, quite openly. Feels good to be home. He cracked me up. How did I miss his funny side all along? Seems like he's changing for the better. And I love it. Come here. I don't even know what to prepare for the delivery room. Don't worry. I've got everything ready long ago. Mike pulled out a suitcase like magic, packed with everything you and the baby need. Looking at this tall man before me, suddenly he seemed so reliable, giving me full security. Mike, sit down. What's wrong? You feeling okay? Mike sat next to me quickly. I already talked to the security downstairs. No cars will park in the corridor this week. So when your water breaks, the ambulance can come right away. No, it's a week to go before delivery. I studied him intently. Just feels like you've suddenly become so considerate. Mike squeezed my hand, his clear eyes curving into a sincere smile. Maybe it's because I know what it means to cherish after losing. MIA, thank you for giving me a second chance. I swear, I won't let you down again. Something warm rushed from my heart, even making my eyes a bit sore. Yeah, I trust you. A week later, our baby safely came into the world. During my confinement, Mike was the one looking after us, even telling my parents not to travel far, saying he got it handled. But I was a bit worried. Mike, you're already so busy at the hospital. Let my mom come help. I already requested a transfer to another department. Won't be as busy as before. Mike sat beside me, wiping my face and hands with a warm towel. In my eyes now, nothing's more important than you and the baby. Just as I was about to say something, the baby cried. Didn't I just feed you? Hungry again? Nope, baby needs a diaper change. Mike picked up the baby, efficiently changed the diaper. Let me show you how to tell the cries apart. No, you just rest. He soothed the baby to sleep, sat back next to me. From now on, with me around, You two will have all you need. I chuckled and nodded. Deal. After leaving the postpartum center, both sets of parents were waiting outside to pick me up. I hadn't met Mike's parents before. His mom hurried up, linking arms with me. So this is MIA, the one my son talks about. Meeting you today tops all those descriptions. Such a sweetheart. MIA, did you know he worked at the tea shop? Because he knew you liked bubble tea. Mom, Mike gasped. What? Afraid to admit it. His mom handed me a gift. Here's something for the grandson. Then out came a bracelet. This family heirlooms for our daughter-in-law, to be passed from generation to generation. MIA, you worked hard. It's time to treat yourself. She was so warm and welcoming. I couldn't refuse. I always thought Mike didn't have much growing up, having to work part-time. Now it seems like he did it all to meet me. Gonna grill him tonight for sure. Having Mike by my side feels so good.